technical difficulties with the camera. I'll be back. I just reloaded the game. I guess we're fine now.
Done. I'm gone. All right. All right. All right. I'm gone. Done. Done. Done.
If it has a name, speak to it. You see a tired-looking man in a black robe. His narrow face is extremely pale, and he doesn't look as if he has been sleeping. His shoulders are slumped, and the flesh sags loosely beneath his bloodshot eyes. He looks so lost in thought he doesn't even notice you. Greetings.
Updated my journal.
The man turns to face you and makes a slight bow. You suddenly notice that his eyes aren't bloodshot so much as they have a red tinge to them. I am Soego. How may I help you? I would like to leave the mortuary. Can you help me? Halfway through your comments, Soego's lips suddenly peel back, revealing a row of dirty, sharp teeth, and he leans in, sniffing you. Why in the hells are you sniffing me? Your clothes, those robes, they smell of another. They are not yours. Soego's lips seal into a strange smile, and his eyes gleam with an almost feral light. Who are you? I only took these robes so I could leave in peace. I woke up on one of the preparation rooms upstairs. He seems surprised. You woke up on one of the slabs upstairs? I've got to tell somebody the truth. Really, the Dustman scrutinizes you. You do look like you've been prepared. I don't know how you would have survived such pain. Are you in pain? You look it. Either you were brought here by blood relatives, other dustmen, or Soego suddenly hisses as if an unpleasant thought had just occurred to him, or one of the collectors. Collectors. We know who collectors are. They collect dead bodies for the dustmen, and they get paid for it. Oh, he's gonna open the front gate for us. How very nice. What's the catch? Very well, the front gate is now unlocked, but you cannot re-enter. Can I ask you some questions? the dead, and even less for the living. He is a scavenger, a collector. Do you know where I could find him? I know he resides in the Hive, the slums outside the mortuary, but I do not know exactly where. Some of the other collectors may know if they'll talk to you. You look tired. Why are you tired? Soigo manages a weak smile, and the corners of his mouth twitch slightly. I have recently taken ill, minor fevers, nothing more. Sometimes they make sleep difficult. Anything I can do? Soigo shakes his head. No, thank you for your concern. I will endure. We want to help this guy. He's our way out. He frowned slightly. Was there something else you wanted? Let's see. Have you seen my journal? Let's keep exploring.
All right. I'm gone. All right. All right.
Let's exit. Am I being hunted? Sigil.
All right. I'm gone.
Oh, okay. No fog of war here.
All right. All right.
Okay, so we made it out of the mortuary.
Done.
Let's explore.
All right. Done. I'm gone.
I thought because she had red hair there was something special about her. I guess I'm shallow that way.
I'm gone. Done.
Hive dwellers don't have much to say. Wait a minute. Okay, this guy falsely recognized us as someone else, and I think we gained some money from that. I guess we have more, whatever that is, coppers. These guys look interesting. You see a tall creature with a shock of white hair. Its skin has a greenish cast, and a pair of goat horns protrudes from its forehead. It is dressed in long flowing robes and appears to be floating slightly above the ground. Greetings. The creature turns to face you, and a series of symbols appears around its head. The symbols have a slight glow about them, and they just hover there. Oh, for the power's sake, piking Daboos. What's wrong? He's a Daboo. They speak in rebuses, these annoying word puzzles. If you don't know what he's saying, then we'd better find a native or some other way to communicate with him, if we want to. An annoying bunch. My bet, they can speak. They just would rather piss everyone else off by trying to puzzle out what they're saying. What's a Daboo? Chant is they're janitors for the Lady of Pain. They float around breaking, fixing, and patching up sigil according to her whims. They're worse than corpse flies, Morty sighs. You can't swat them though, or the lady'll get upset. Lady of Pain, who's that? She runs this city. You'll know if you see her. She's got these blades around her face. She's about the size of a giant, and she floats off the ground. Just like these guys. Morty nods at the Daboos, who is looking at you both. Nobody knows much about her. She doesn't speak much. All you need to know is that you don't want to make her angry. If you see her, my advice, run. The Daboo waits patiently, its hand tucked into its sleeves. A series of symbols materialize above its head. Then they vanish and a question mark appears. Try and speak to the Daboo. You ask the Daboo several questions, trying to get a feel for the rebuses that appear above its head. Although it is extremely patient throughout your discussion, you can't seem to get the hang of it. Eventually the Daboos stop floating symbols and simply waits. I guess we're too... Our brains aren't that sophisticated. Morty, can you translate? I'd sooner be strained through a Tanari's bowels than unravel what these floating goat heads are trying to say. You want a translator? Find a sigil native. I'm sorry, I don't understand you. A series of symbols appear above the Daboo's head. It then bows and turns away. That could have gone better with the Nameless One
Done.
with mage-like attribute, like a higher intelligence. This is a big place. Gathering Dust Bar.
Chief, what are we doing in here? Let's say we just give this place the laugh, alright?
Morty, what's wrong? Let's try to talk to Morty.
Hey, what's eating you, Chief?
How did you die, Morty? No idea, Chief. I kind of forgot when I died. Can't say I blame myself. At least there was something waiting for me after I died, even if it is a life as a floating skull. I mean, it could have been worse. What happened to your body? I don't know, alright. It's just gone. Morty glares at you. But don't think I miss it, because I'm happy just the way I am. And I don't need your half-wit judgments or snide remarks, alright? Whatever. Let's go. Come on, shake a leg. Morty glares at you. I'm not convinced you aren't some sort of walking curse that's destined to follow me around. Look who's talking. Let's go. Seer the Skeptic. As you approach, the elderly woman turns and stares at you. La, look who's come a-calling on Seer today, Death's dearest son. She looks you up and down, then shakes her head in disbelief. By every power and its mother, boy, what crypt did you crawl out of? I'm fresh from the mortuary, actually. That's so. Seer raises an eyebrow. Warms my ears to hear you gave that place the laugh, boy. Not much of a watering hole for one who isn't relieving themselves. She sniffs. Too many cobwebs and dusty mines. You don't like the mortuary, aren't you a dustman? A dustman, I suppose. I've seen enough sand pass through the hourglass while wearing these robes. This body's almost ready to pay the ferryman. She chuckles, but there's not much mirth in it. Are you afraid of dying? Of course I am, boy. Who isn't? She frowns and glances around. Well, except dustmen. They're not afraid because they've been swallowing so much of their own bat droppings over the decades, they've blinded themselves into thinking that death is some kind of release. It is a release of a sort. If you think this life is a burden, boy, then perhaps I'm not convinced of that. Oh. If you think this is a burden, boy, then perhaps I'm not convinced of that. So you don't believe in what the dustmen say? Aren't you a dustman? She shrugs. I guess the dustman robes don't fit me as well as they used to. What happened? Life, I suppose. Never you mind. I won't bore you with the niggling details. I'd like to know, actually. Because this might reward me some experience. Oh, would you? She looks at you skeptically. How old do you take me for, boy? Not too old. Well, you're wrong. I'm really old. Now I've spent most of my long years teaching dustmen. I've seen many dustmen well grow within our order, taught them the ways of the faction, kept the faith, preached the tenets of the faction. She frowns, and so on and so on. No questions, no doubt. This life was merely an antechamber that led to the true death. What happened? Well, a half-month back, I went sick with the fever, she sighs. I thought it was the end. It rattled my cage. How? Her face becomes as stone. There's something about having your faction members circle around your deathbed like a pack of pale-faced ghouls, nodding and agreeing that your suffering and dying is all for the best. Oh, Seer is so fortunate. She shall soon be relieved of the burden of life. Burden of life. That's when it struck me. That there's something, a queer expression comes over her features, addled about not appreciating your life. The dustman keeps saying that life is misery and suffering. Is it? That we should not be happy to pass on into oblivion, should we? She shakes her head. Questions, and precious few answers. I suppose I've got a swarm of doubts all buzzing in my skull. She rubs her temples. Hard to get them all to be quiet sometimes. They need to be fed some answers. And I haven't got them all worked out yet. What will you do? To be square, boy, I don't know, Seer sighs. That's the problem with doubt. I can't even trust that I'm what I'm feeling is true, or if I'm scared of death only because of my brush with the fever, or even what I should do. Is this a passing thing? I don't know. Seer, if you had truly believed in the Dustman philosophy, then your brush with the fever would not have left you with such doubts. There you go. Seer stares at you, then nods slowly. Maybe so, maybe so. She frowns, her face wrinkling up in concentration. I'd have to chew it over some more. You should, it's no small matter. La, now, enough of me rattling on about my woes. Seer stares at your scars. You look like you've shared a few handshakes with death yourself. Hasn't that changed your views somewhat? Doesn't it make you appreciate life a bit more? I'd actually died and got better. Seer blinks. You're rattling my coffin. It's true. Strange are the ways of the plains, and I've seen too much to throw any tale out with the wash. She studies your face. If it's true, why does this happen? Don't know. She seems to think for a moment, then shrugs. Makes the two of us, then. Most peculiar. Never heard of anything like that. Shame about the memories. Do you have any idea why this happens? Not a one. Never knew anyone who death wouldn't take until now. Okay, we're known as Crypt Crawler. Okay, so one of the dustmen that we spoke to, the guy who opened the door for us in the mortuary, helped us escape. His brother died in the hive a few weeks ago, or one of his friends was killed in the hive a few weeks ago, torn apart by rats. Farewell. This tiny, wizened man is dwarfed by his huge dustman robes. They look as if they were chosen to cloak his small stature. Although he looks to be in his late 90s, this man is extremely energetic. He fidgets continuously, and his eyes dart around the bar like a bird's. Greetings. The man's eyes gleam as he takes your measure, and he gives you a slight nod in greeting. Hail and well met, traveler. You look like one who is just getting their sigil legs about them. He trails off. Pardon me. Have we met before? Your face seems familiar somehow. Mortai Gravesend. Okay. Possible. Are you certain it was me? Maybe I was mistaken. Morty, I'll just call him Mortai, because we have a Morty. He's, Mortai and Morty. Shakes his head. Well, no matter. How is it that Mortai Gravesend may help you? Do you seek, he clucks his tongue as he speaks, the contract, perhaps? Contract? The contract, why, is but a simple transaction. From the death of his robe, Mortai pulls forth a dusty parchment and a quill pen. I give you 50 commons. In return, after death, the Dustman faction may claim your remains. He smiles and clucks his tongue. What use will you have for them at that point anyway? What do the Dustmen do with the body? Mortai holds up his hands as if he doesn't know. What does it matter? It is of no consequence when you pass on. It matters to me. Well, if you must know, oftentimes nothing is done with the body, and it is we, the dustmen, who have wasted all that money. More fools us. Mordtai gives a light smile, then looks apologetic, but rarely there are times when the workers in the mortuary need to be replaced, and then we may have a need for your body. You mean I'll be animated as a corpse and put to work in the mortuary? That doesn't sound very good. Ah, but no harm is done, no pain. Mordtai raises a finger as if to emphasize the point. And there is no danger. In exchange for money you can spend in this life, you merely have to give us something you will have no need of anyway once you have died. Mordtai taps his chest. I signed the contract myself, if you must know. I shall have no need of my body when I pass on. I'll consider it. For now I have some other questions. Oh, he has a strange expression on his face. Is something wrong? Forgive me, I must ask again. Are you sure we haven't met before? Possibly. I do not recall you. Mordai shakes his head. Well, no matter. Very well, Mordai. Yes, farewell, farewell. He studies you as you leave, and you hear him mutter under his breath something about that one. You see a heavy-set man with dark skin and grim features. He is dressed in the dustman robes and is regarding you with a stony gaze. Greetings. You have the look of one lost. The man's voice is like stone settling. Did the wind send you, or are you here with purpose? Who are you? I'm Emmerich, Factotum, an initiate of the Fourth Circle. Is this your bar? If you measure ownership in copper, this is not my establishment. If you measure ownership in spirit, it is mine. He pauses as if trying to emphasize a point. The dustmen here are my students. They are under my protection. Can I ask you some questions? Can you tell me about the dead contracts? No, I already know about the dead contracts. I'm searching for Farad. I wish to speak with him. As do I. He has made such a thing difficult. He speaks through other men. Emmerich falls silent for a moment. When two men speak through other men, little is said and much is lost. Why do you want to speak with Farad? The collector Farad has brought many corpses to the mortuary of late. One must ask where these bodies are from. Perhaps I could find out where these bodies are from and get a quest. How would you do such a thing? I would track down Farad and ask him. If you spoke with the collector Farad and returned with his answers, you will have done a great service for the dustman. Find where the dead he brings to us are from, and you will be rewarded. Very well, I will find Farad, speak to him, and find out where these dead bodies he brings you are from. Your path is our path. Return here when you have the collector Farad's answers. Can you tell me where he is? It is not known to me where the collector Farad is. He hides from the eyes of the dustmen. I would seek other collectors and ask them your question. Farewell. without a reflection.
All right.
Before you was a tall, silent figure, old Copper Eyes. He could easily pass for a statue, although the deep furrows in his face and brow make you wonder if the sculptor was a little too eager in defining the face with the chisel. He looks well over 50 years old, but exactly how much over 50 it's hard to tell. As he slowly turns to look at you, you catch the dull sheen of copper in his eyes. Greetings. Old Copper Eyes stares at you. His eyes are difficult to make out past the black well of his eye sockets, but they look to have a coppery sheen about them. I have some questions. Farewell. Let's try something else. I'm looking to sign one of the dead contracts. Copper Eyes makes the barest of nods and slowly reaches into his dustman robes with both hands. With his left hand he pulls forth a small bag of human skin. With his right hand he draws forth a piece of parchment folded around a finger bone pen. The bag and the parchment are slowly laid on the table in front of you. Examine the parchment. It's a contract that entitles the dustman to take possession of the signer's body after he has passed beyond the eternal boundary. The signer in exchange receives a monetary sum from the dustman. Okay, I guess everything that we were told it is about. Examine the bag. There's 100 coppers in there. It's a lot of money. You know what? Let them take our body. We'll just wake up, we'll wake up again. I'm sure of it. We're signing. We're greedy. We need the money. As you finish signing, Copper Eyes nods at the bag in his left, to his left. As he does, the contract parchment vanishes from the table and into the folds of his robe. Alright, we did it. It's like donating your body to science. You look troubled, Narosh. Narosh touches his face and traces the shape of his frown with his finger. Troubled, yes. What's wrong? The dustman looks you up and down. Many troubles have I. Help? Can you? A mausoleum awakes, the dead walk, the dead disturbed, the dustman disturbed. Find out what disturbs the undead, and copper coins I will pay. Very well, where is this mausoleum?
Updated my journal.
Narachi nods. Mausoleum by Dustman Memorial. Go north and west from Black Monument. Go to arch and semicircle over your heart with this finger this make. He wiggles the index finger on his right hand. To the mausoleum, go you will. Alright, I'm up for some action.
Can't find any daters. Maybe I could gut a Dusty.
That must be it.